guys, how's everyone doing? I just wanted to say hello. This is my second vlog, and just thank you guys all so much for the encouraging feedback. This can be really embarrassing and uncomfortable, and I'm sure it's going to take some time for me to get used to, but I just really appreciate everyone encouraging me. I thought for today I'd share my famous chocolate chip cookie recipe. I don't like to give this recipe out often, but I'm going to share it with you guys. And just to preface, this actually is not my recipe. It's from Sally's Baking Addiction. I found it a couple years ago, and I've been totally hooked and obsessed, and I've given it to quite a few people since then. But I've had a few people tell me they don't turn out the way yours do, and so I kind of wanted to make these with you today and just share kind of some of the tips and tricks that goes into baking these chewy chocolate chip cookies. I have tried a lot of chocolate chip cookies in the past, and these by far are definitely one of my favorites. What goes into it is 2.5 cups of leveled flour. Instead of just digging your scoop into the flour, spoon it in little by little and then measure it out. So that's what she means by 2 cups, 2 1/4 cup flour. And back to the sugar here, I have brown sugar and white sugar already measured out. We have 1/2 cup of white sugar, and we have 3/4 cup loosely packed brown sugar. So that's what's in this bowl. I have cornstarch, which I think might be the secret ingredient to these cookies. So we have 1/2 teaspoon of salt in here, 1.5 teaspoons cornstarch, and 1 teaspoon of baking soda. We also are going to use vanilla. I like to use this vanilla. It's really good, Madagascar organic vanilla. But for me, what makes I feel like cookies stand out and not just generic cookies is really good chocolate. And so sure, if you have Toll House chocolate chips or Trader Joe's chocolate chips laying around, totally use those. Those are great. But I feel like if you want kind of an edge to your cookies and you want them to be a little bit more rustic and authentic looking, I always buy my own chocolate and I chop it up myself. So today I have 2 different types of chocolate. I have this German chocolate, I'm not going to even try to pronounce it, Scharfenberger semi-sweet dark chocolate. I have got that, and then I also got the Ghirardelli semi-sweet. And I think semi-sweet is the perfect chocolate for chocolate chip cookies. Milk chocolate just tends to be a little bit too sweet, while semi-sweet gives it just the right enough flavor because the dough is already sweet itself. So as you can see down here, I chopped up the 2 different types of chocolate. They come in big bars, and it just kind of creates just more thick chunks and looser little bits that just end up adding really good flavor. So that's just my little 2 cents on chocolate chip cookies. Another thing I like to add, which is not in her recipe, is sea salt. So I use these Malden sea salt flakes, and I just sprinkle them on top of the cookie dough before they go into the oven. Okay, I totally forgot to add 2 things. So we have 1.5 sticks butter, and again, I like to use the finest ingredient, so I prefer to use Kerrygold butter, but I feel like this does make a difference when you use really good ingredients. I like to use organic eggs, organic when possible. I like King Arthur flour, and I just feel like that can add and make or break a difference to your cookies. She also uses 1 large egg and 1 egg yolk. So this is 1 large egg and 1 egg yolk. I'm pouring everything into the flour mixture. I'm gonna add the salt, the cornstarch, and the baking soda all in one. I like to just use a whisk to stir it up because I feel like that really incorporates everything and it breaks up the baking soda. Have you ever taken a bite into banana bread and you get a big bite of like an unbroken baking soda ball? It makes you want to throw up. So this way ensures that you get kind of it all mixed in there really well. So now that that's all mixed up, we can move that aside. We bring the sugars over here, and nice thing about this is I have a KitchenAid mixer back here, as you can see. But what's nice about this, and let me get my spatula out, is that you don't need to necessarily dirty up your, let me get a different one, KitchenAid, because you have to melt the butter, and so it just makes everything stirring so much easier. So anyway, so here's our sugars. And then we're just gonna add the melted butter in here. That's a lot of butter, I know, but these cookies are good, so it's gonna have to be something that makes them good, right? So we're just gonna stir it up really good. I feel like right now I'm not eating really any sugar. I am really on a mission to lose the last of this baby weight. I have probably about 9 or 10 pounds to go. So I'm not eating a lot of cookies these days, but I feel like that's kind of a tragedy. I want to get back to the place in my life once I lose all the weight that I can have a cookie here and there and it's totally fine. But right now I've got to be just really restrictive with myself because I am not, for me, when I bake, I'll literally eat all the cookies and my kids will eat them, but I try not to let them have a lot of sweets. And Travis, he doesn't really eat a lot of my sweets. Sometimes in the morning he'll grab some cookies for breakfast, but besides that, it'll be me eating them, and so it's very, very sad. Now the eggs, one of the things that you'll see on this recipe is that they need to be at room temperature. And this is super important because the butter is heated and already melted, we want the eggs to be at room temperature. That way that the dough kind of all blends and melts together. And I find that if you skip little pieces like this in the instructions, it ends up not really working out to your benefit. So this is one of those chocolate chip cookies recipes that you definitely need to follow all the steps appropriately, and if you want them to turn out just like so. This is also a recipe that you can't, I'm just gonna blend this all up, that you can't just say like, oh, I want chocolate chip cookies right now and make them. You have to make these. The dough, she recommends chilling for 3 hours. Sometimes it can even be like 3 days that it can be in the fridge, and that kind of allows all the flavors to kind of meld together. Now that we have the sugar and butter and eggs all beautifully melded together, kind of a nice pretty caramel color, I'm just gonna add 2 teaspoons vanilla. And so dry to wet, just pour it in like so. Give it a good mix. So now the dough's almost all the way mixed. See how there's just a little bit more flour? I'm really big on not over mixing with baking. When you over mix eggs, it makes things tough, and so I'm really careful about never over mixing when I have eggs involved. So now they say to add chocolate chips, or in my case, gourmet, delicious cut up chocolate. So we're gonna add that in, about a cup's worth or more, whatever you like. I'm gonna add all this in. So give it a good stir. I'm gonna have to put this down to stir, sorry. To save time, because this needs to refrigerate and I wanted to show you what's up, here is the cookie dough I made this morning. Y'all have this scoop. This is probably 1.5 inches wide. I love these scoops. This one's from Pampered Chef. This, and I kind of just like to do a few drops on top. They go in the oven at 325 for 10 to 11 minutes. And you're gonna pull them out. They're gonna be a little underbaked, but they need to set for about 10 minutes on the baking sheet. So the cookies are in, my kids are napping, and I have had a lot of you, friends and strangers alike, ask me, why are you doing this vlog? Like, not necessarily a bad thing, but I'm just wondering what prompted you to do something like this. And for me, it's just a creative outlet. I feel like I have this weird need to express myself, and when I feel like God is teaching me something new, or I've found a new product, or I'm excited about something in my house, I love, and I've found so much joy in sharing it on Instagram. If you follow me on Instagram, you know I post random things about my kids and just the joys and the struggles that is motherhood. And this is just giving me kind of a creative outlet to share things that I'm learning in my marriage with my kids, transitioning to just being a stay-at-home mom. I love baking, I love cooking, I love being in the kitchen and using my hands. That's, I feel like, an expression of my creativity, and so I want to share it with the world. I just feel like, why keep all of our secrets and knowledge in our head? Like, let's just share it and see what happens. So I hate watching myself on TV. I hate hearing my voice, you guys. I cannot watch that first video already because I just kept seeing my double chin, and I feel like I'm getting old, and I can see the wrinkles, and my hair is, can Can you tell I got ready today? I was a little bit more inspired. But I just, I want to share the authentic, real parts of my life, because when people are like that with me, that encourages me. And so I just want to vlog and share just the struggles and the realness of my life and the happy things too. And what's ironic is behind me here, I'll show you in a second, is my neighbor. And they have lived in this house for probably 50 something years. And Murph works in his yard every day, and if you've been to my house, you've noticed and you've asked about the yard next door, and I just have to show you guys. This is Murph's yard, and my windows are dirty. I hope you can see, and if you can see him over there, you can see his little hat. He is just the most darling, probably almost 90-year-old man. And you guys, he works in this yard day after day. And why does he do it at 90 years old? But it's beautiful in its own way, and it's because he works out there and he does it because he loves it and it brings him joy. And that's probably what keeps him alive. And so that's kind of like, this is what I kind of feel like my garden is I'm starting this new adventure in this vlog, and this is what brings me joy. And I think that that is what life is all about. If you can find something that brings you happiness and joy and that you find worth in, then go for it, and try to post 2 or 3 times a week. So that's my goal. As long as I have some content and things to work with, then you will see my face, and we'll do a ton of different things. They smell delicious. Let's see. Oh, look at those. So, look how big these are. Yum. Yum. Good luck, bikini season. Good luck. Anyways, thanks for watching. Let me know if you guys try them out. Have a great day and happy baking.